Anthropic pays $1.5 billion. Anthropic has agreed to the largest copyright settlement in U.S. history. $1.5 billion to 500,000 authors. I'm wondering if I'm one of them, or $3,000 each. The lawsuit accused the company of downloading pirated books from sites like Library Genesis and Pirate Library Mirror to train its AI model. A federal judge ruled that while training on legally purchased books was fair use, pirated material was not, forcing Anthropic into the record payout. This is the quote, Napster moment for AI. Just as music piracy brought billion-dollar lawsuits 2 decades ago, AI companies now face massive costs if they build on stolen content. Other companies have already started paying. OpenAI struck multi-billion-dollar licensing deals with Axel Springer, News Corp, Condé Nast, and the Washington Post, with the News Corp deal rumored at $250 million. Amazon signed with the New York Times earlier this year. 11 Labs quietly settled a voice cloning lawsuit with actors. And Microsoft, as OpenAI's backer, has pledged billions to cover potential copyright liabilities. The industry's learning fast. Build on piracy, pay later. Okay, what's the real message here? Yeah, short term, some of these big AI companies are handing out a few checks, a lot of them small, some a little bit bigger than small, to creators. But make no mistake about it, AI is coming for your content. And there are going to be more and more AI companies out there. It's going to be playing whack-a-mole. And if you think you're going to get rich by writing a book once and that intellectual property being yours forever and everyone coming to you and having to pay you first, you're sadly mistaken. AI is coming for everything. And my only advice is you got to figure out how to get in the AI game yourself. You've got to convert your own content into some sort of AI clone, some kind of site, some kind of app, so you can be a part of the new game. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. Okay, so let's look at some of the facts. Anthropic, again, they did pay $1.5 billion settlement to 500,000 authors. That's a lot of authors. The judge says it's okay for the AIs to scroll books, but not pirated books. Here's the part, and I haven't read the full legal ruling. There are 1 million or so books available for free legally through things like Google Books. So these LLMs can get a heck of a lot of content without having to steal pirated books. Yes, some of the bigger players like News Corp have struck deals. New York Times, News Corp got $250 million payment from some of these AI companies. But I think it's very, very hard to slow down this new technology. Every other day, some 17-year-old seems to be given $1 billion from venture capitalists to start their own AI company. And there's going to be more and more and more of them, and it's going to be harder and harder for publishers, media companies to keep track of it. I don't know what the solution is. I can tell you my own strategy is trying to have multiple sources of revenue. And for right now, yes, someone could take the contents of my books, you see some of them behind me, and repackage it and give that advice. But I'm doing the same with my own AI clone, tjwalker.ai, for a little plug, hoping to get some of the monetization there. That's a part of it. There are other aspects of monetization that I think are really crucial. Live events. So far, no one is having AI robots go to a convention or a conference and give a keynote speech. So that's a part of where I make my income. No one is yet figured out a way to make an AI clone where an author expert trainer goes to a corporation for a day and works one-on-one with small groups and seminars to train a new skill. So AI hasn't figured out how to do that yet. Will it be happening in our lifetime? I think so. Will it be happening in the next 10 years? Good chance, maybe. Will it happen in the next 2 years? I have no idea. But for right now, that's still a way to make money if you are a thought leader. So that is my recommendation to you if you're on the thought leadership game, if you're in the content creation game, if you're a subject matter expert. You've got to really think broadly on what's every possible way you can give value to people with your expertise. Because if it's just words on a screen, you may be living on borrowed time. I may be living on borrowed time. Some of you who are regulars of mine may have noticed I don't put out books quite as often as I used to. There was a time when I'd put out, a couple of books a year. The last book I did put out on How to Create Your Own Digital Clone, AI, did come out about a year ago, but I have no books planned immediately, in part because it's simply harder to monetize intellectual property in a text format because ChatGPT and Anthropic and all these other platforms do such a good job of it. Look, I'm all in favor of representatives of authors banding together and suing and getting their piece of the pie. Because right now, these huge AI companies have so many billions thrown at them. Throwing $1 billion to authors to sort of placate them is like going to a nice restaurant, running up a $200 tab and putting an extra $5 tip on the table. You don't even notice it. I don't think these AI companies are going to notice it. They have so much money to play with. So some of it needs to trickle down. That doesn't solve the real problem. The real problem, what we have as authors, as experts, as businesses, but fundamentally as human beings, is how do we actually create something new and meaningful that can't be created more efficiently and in many cases better than AI? Because you might write the absolute best book in the history of the world on how to use a canoe, but there's simply no way that within the very near future, if it hasn't already happened, AI can't write a better book on how to canoe and have better pictures and better images and better techniques and tips, to the point where it would be irrational for someone to buy your book on canoeing. And I don't have a book on canoeing, although it just occurred to me, my father's gym coach in high school in Chicago, Illinois, way back in the late 40s and 50s, did write a book on canoeing. So maybe that's why that particular topic came up to me. I think all of us, if we want to be vital and relevant in this economy, have got to figure out new ways every single day of not only creating, not just content, ideas, products, and services, but new ways of distributing it, getting it in front of customers to be relevant to them and to somehow be better than any kind of generic artificial intelligence. We're going to be following this story for a long time to come.